the new governor's former U.S. House seat.
It's in New Jersey's 11th congressional district in the northern part of the state. Democrat Mikey Sherrill was elected governor in November, leaving that seat open. The only Republican in this primary is Randolph, New Jersey Mayor Joe Hathaway. There are 11 Democrats running. 5 with the most prominent endorsements include former Congressman Tom Malinowski, Passaic County Commissioner John Bartlett, Essex County Commissioner Brendan Gill, former Lieutenant Governor Tahisha Way, and progressive activist Ana Lilia Mejia. The special election to serve out the rest of Sherrill's term this year is on April 16th. Chris Foster, Fox News.
Border Czar Tom Homan announced yesterday 700 ICE agents are leaving Minnesota, but that leaves over 2,000 agents still there, and Democrats say it's not the de-escalation they wanted. Homan says the decrease in agents does not mean things are going to change in Minneapolis.
President Trump made a promise of mass deportation. I made a promise of mass deportation, and it's happening, and it's continuing happening for the next 3 years. We're not slowing down. As President Trump has said, worst first. But if you're in the country legally, you're not off the table. We're not going to do any further drawdowns if the hate, the rhetoric, and the attacks on ICE, the impediment and interference doesn't cease. This is on you now.
Meanwhile, a mayoral candidate in Long Beach, California, is calling on the leaders of the street gangs in the area to help him get rid of ICE agents who are enforcing U.S. immigration laws.
Rogelio Martinez made the strange but impassioned plea on his social media page.
I need to see 55 gang leaders here this coming Monday. ICE needs to get out of Long Beach. We need to take back the city.
And to make sure he didn't forget anyone, he called roll.
The Latino gangs, the Cambodian gangs, the Filipino gangs, the black gangs, and the Pacific Islander gangs.
Gary Bauer of American Values says the world is turning upside down when the left hates law enforcement so much they have more in common with violent thugs.
Who in Long Beach, California, that's not a criminal would want to vote for a candidate who thinks it's a good idea to invite the leaders of 51 different gangs to appear in a rally with him?
Then again, he says Democrat leaders have been making ICE officers out to be the criminals.
Mayors of major cities, members of Congress are saying that when they get back in power, they're going to track down ICE agents as if they were Nazis and hold them accountable.
Or, Bauer says, maybe Martinez is stuck in some dystopian real-world West Side story.
Jets!
He says Martinez must be in some kind of fairy tale because he has only one rule for the leaders of the murderous Los Angeles Crips and Bloods.
Peacefully, but with strong force, but peacefully.
I'm Steve Chordall.
For American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh.
The loss of a child through abortion, miscarriage, or stillbirth affects the emotional health of families. Feelings of anger, sadness, and regret can be overwhelming. There is hope and healing in the aftermath of a reproductive loss. Call the International Helpline at 866-482-LIFE to talk with someone who has been where you are and healed to help others. Your call is confidential. 866-482-LIFE.
Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today's Issues here on the American Family Radio Network. That's the name of this here show. Today's Issues on this Thursday, February the 5th, 2026. Thanks for listening to American Family Radio. I'm Tim Wildman with Ed Vitagliano. Good morning, Brother Ed.
Good morning, Tim.
Wesley Wildman. Good morning, Wesley.
It's an okay morning for me.
Okay, but that's not going to work as a book, Wesley. You're not going to sell any books in the inspirational section. Call it an okay day by me.
Okay,
it's an okay Thursday.
This day rocks. You might be able to sell some books.
I just pulled in from leaving the dentist office, getting my teeth cleaning, and
I
feel like I just can't. You know, so I'm gonna do the best I can today.
Hey, listen, if you got away from the dentist office with only a teeth cleaning,
then it is above average day.
It's above average day.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now you're not your lips not drooling.
No, not drooling.
All right, Chris Woodward. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
Chris, what's your favorite dentist experience that you remember in your lifetime?
When you after you've had some things done and you
Yeah.
walk up to the lady at the counter and she goes, "We don't need you to pay for anything." That's the best day.
That's the best.
Yeah.
That is true.
No.
And then they end up billing you.
What that means
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
what that means is we'll mail it to you. To you.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know how they make money sometimes because a lot of doctors' offices will tell you like, you don't have to pay anything, and then like 3 months later you get some bill for something you don't even remember having done.
Hey,
I
I'll
don't know how they
I'll
keep
tell you a little
going.
horror story about that one.
A dentist.
Do we have time
horror
for this?
story?
No.
Absolutely.
About this billing thing.
A good horror
So-
story on a Thursday makes it go from
a medical
okay
horror.
to
So Allison,
awesome.
Allison, my wife, she got a knee replacement like 3 years ago. So 2 years later, we get a bill.
What?
I mean, several
2 years later?
No, several $1,000s.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they said, sorry, man, we had a mix-up in our system, and we're just now realizing what happened. And
We're gonna bill you.
I would have said, look, there's got to be a statute of limitations
That's it.
here.
That's it. I was thinking that. Yeah.
she said her answer was, well, try come and get my knee back. And so that didn't work.
Repossessed.
Yeah, come repo my knee.
Repo the knee.
Listen,
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
repo,
Chris's joke, repo your knee, your knee replacement.
repo my knee.
Yep. Anyway, so we paid it.
Yeah.
We paid it. It was painful, but we paid it.
Yeah, try not paying it with those guys. It's like not paying the IRS.
Put you on the what do you call it when they start hand you over to a
Probably
collection
wind up on
collection
the no-fly list too.
At some point, yeah.
This week was the anniversary of the 16th Amendment being ratified. The income tax amendment.
that was having to do with knee replacement.
Yeah, it was. Yes. Yeah, they needed that back in the 1900s.
income tax on knee replapacements. That was
Well,
like
some people would sell one knee.
Yeah.
Because you don't need, you
only need one.
You only need one.
I think we need to move on.
I think that's different body
The
part.
government
okay.
does sometimes want a pound of flesh.
I think we need to move on. You're listening to today's issues. This is a serious show.
Mm-hmm.
At some point.
It sure is.
At some point.
At some point.
Funny.
All right. So, hey, I wanted to read this sweet note we got from
Please
one
do.
of our listeners, and then we'll move. I like to do this every once in a while. Then we'll move into the depressing news of the day.
Say pressing news or depressing?
Depressing. Gut-wrenching.
Huh?
Oh, okay.
Well, we got some happy news too.
I do. I've got an uplifting soundbite I'm ready to play.
Chris got an uplifting soundbite.
He's grinning.
Positive and encouraging.
This is an okay
All right,
day.
so got this a few months ago actually, but the letters sometimes come in and put them to the side. Anyway, this listener says, "Dear AFA, I'm a 97, soon to be 98 year old, living on Social Security and pension, plus legally blind. My money is very limited. An unexpected sum of money came to me, and I have to share it with you. I do pray for you all and thank you for all you do. May the Lord keep you all safe and give victory in all your efforts." And this is from Christine, who lives in Ridgeway, Virginia.
Wow.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a handwritten letter. We get handwritten letters like this all the time, usually from people over 70.
Right.
That's the handwritten letters usually. But anyway, she's 98 now since this letter was written. But I thought, what? Handwritten note, send us a donation.
Wesley, have you ever written a handwritten letter?
I have written
Like
a couple.
5th grade?
Mine weren't quite as long. Mine were more notes.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
'Cause
Anyway.
my son, Tony, he was on the show with me yesterday. I tease him because he's 36. I think he turns 37 this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And he writes like a 5th grader. His handwriting is
like a doctor?
Astonishingly bad. No, I'm not
Worse. No,
saying
that's a
it's not a
compliment.
scribble. It's like a 5th grader trying to do his cursive.
Oh, okay.
The big loops on
Yeah.
the H and the.
Yeah.
I mean, we
get-
tease him mercilessly about it.
I gave up on the cursive. I still write cursive some.
Yeah.
But on the T,
Yeah.
And I was like, when did they teach cursive? Like third grade?
Depends
back
on
in
the
day?
school system. Where your
Anyway.
grandkids are in school, they learned in kindergarten, but other schools is about
So they
third
were
and fourth.
teaching me to write my name, and the T to me looked like a J.
That's
Oh
right.
yeah, that's
So I refused that.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So I go straight up
Rightfully
with I
so.
go straight up with a T, like a print.
Yeah.
A print T.
And
and then
everything
I,
else is
Then I
cursive.
go the rest cursive. So it's
I
kind
do
of a
that. I
hybrid.
do
You
that.
do a
Yeah.
hybrid?
I'm absolutely hybrid.
All right, you're listening to today's issues. Chris, what's our first story?
All right, today is the National Prayer Breakfast, which is something that's been around for a long time, and many guest speakers have included presidents over the years. President Donald Trump himself was at the National Prayer Breakfast this morning. I've got a little bit of audio here, clip one.
Our founders proclaimed the immortal truths that echoed around the world and down all the way through time. They declared that all of us are made free and equal by the hand of our Creator. A lot of presidents refuse to say that. They refuse to say that. Some refuse. Some major politicians refuse to say the word God. They don't want to say it. I say it. That we are endowed with our sacred rights to life, liberty, and not by government, but by God Almighty Himself.
Well, you know, we don't get what. I'm sorry. I was going to be serious for a moment, but there it is. Funny the way he says it.
Yes. Listen,
Somebody wrote that for him.
I
Seriously,
love President Trump's voice.
Yes.
And his expressions, but he typically will say whatever he's talking about. A lot of people won't say it, but I say it,
and then he says it again.
And then he says it. Anyway,
it's very typical of him. Yeah.
Well, what he was doing was acknowledging God.
Amen.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
So good for him.
Good thing.
Good for him for acknowledging God
and understanding the beliefs of the founders,
right?
Which centered around God.
That's right.
And
So
is
it's
important.
the National Prayer Breakfast. I've been to a couple of those, and it's a long-standing tradition. One I went to, Bill Clinton spoke when he was president, and then another one I went to, President Trump was in office.
Was the food good?
The food was typical banquet food. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know if they were just still using breakfast, but they don't actually.
It was at a big hotel, like a Hilton hotel or something like that. The food was not memorable, Chris. If that's what you're asking me.
That's how you get to a Baptist heart at a prayer breakfast.
What now?
Food.
That's a
That's how
good
you
point.
get to a Baptist heart.
A Baptist tart.
Yeah, a Baptist's heart is through breakfast.
Oh, that's the way you get to a Baptist heart is through breakfast.
Yes, sir.
I've got you. Okay,
That's
I thought you
biblical.
said that's
Bring
what,
the breakfast and they come and pray.
Yeah.
Because around here in the South, I never saw any of this growing up. I grew up in New England, so this is a whole different culture down here. But I get invited to different churches, like Brotherhood breakfasts,
That's it, brother.
Oh, yeah.
constantly. I mean, and this is just people want to invite you to their church, and hey, come on, we're having a.
they want to free speakers what they want.
Well, I
I
have
learned
been
this a long
invited
time ago.
to do that, but I'm
Speak to
teaching
our
a Sunday
brotherhood.
school class, so I
Yes.
can't really
Drive
do
an
that
hour and a
anymore.
half. Drive an hour and a half. Speak to our brotherhood, and we'll give you a handshake and a piece of bacon.
Yeah. Now there is a guy listening named John from the area, and John's church, they feed you really well. There's a couple of
It
churches
gives
over
you
in the
more than
Fulton
one
area.
piece of bacon.
You put on some weight if you go visit them.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Okay, I've spoken at many. I've
halfway-
spoken at many brotherhoods over the years, but I have paid those dues,
Yes,
and I'm not re-entering that arena. Okay,
because it's time for a new generation.
because new generation can go to those.
Yeah.
We'll wake up at 6:30 on Sunday morning.
What you do is when you go up to the breakfast, just say, "Is this all plant-based?" And then you don't get invited
No.
again.
Yeah. That's it.
No, and
It's all plant-based.
where we live, they
get-
kick you out.
No, and then they drag.
It better not be all
We're
plant-based.
gonna lay hands on you and not in the biblical
Then they
sense.
drag you behind the church and beat you up.
Yeah.
It's biscuits and eggs and a hog. All right, next story, Chris.
All right. One of the other things that President Trump has been saying beyond talking about God Almighty himself, the clip we just played there, President Trump's getting asked a ton of questions about ICE and could they be, conducting themselves better when they go and search for people in the country illegally. And I've got some audio here of President Trump saying that ICE could be a little softer in Minnesota and other places. Clip 3.
Mr. President, speaking of Minneapolis, what did you learn?
I learned that maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough. These are criminals. We're dealing with really hard criminals. But look, I've called the people. I've called the governor. I've called the mayor, spoke to them, had great conversations with them.
That was from NBC, by the way.
So a softer, tougher approach.
That's right.
What, that didn't make any sense
That's what
to
you
me.
call clear as mud.
Well, now this is something. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so in the last 3 or 4 days on this issue, none of it has made sense. You've gotten a bunch of what you just heard, which is we got to be softer. We got to be tougher with their softness, or softer with their. I mean, like it's speaking out of both sides. And I'm really at a loss onto why that is the case, because this is like another analogy would be like the Christian that compromises to the LGBT issue in the name of being nice, but then you alienate and lose your Christian, true biblical friends, but you also are never satisfying the LGBT crowd. In the same way here, in doing a softer, more tougher approach, you're frustrating people like me who voted for you to do exactly what you're doing, but yet you'll never make Frey happy enough.
The mayor,
or I use
the lefties.
The lefties. Waltz never be happy enough, and so I'm a bit confused on what the strategy behind this would be. Outside of PR, from a policy standpoint, it's a bad way of going about it. Unless there's something behind the scenes going on that we don't know about, that we may find out. The 3D chess is always.
I think what he was saying was, I don't like the way it looks.
Yeah, that's.
But it has to be done this way. That's kind of what what I got from President Trump right there.
And you have said before, and I absolutely agree. You've said before that the work of law enforcement is not pretty. Okay, and I'm not just talking about ICE. I'm just talking about across
never looks good on TV.
board. Yeah, it never looks good on TV, and really, our country has been, as is usual, very influenced by the mainstream media and the images that have been, and the out-and-out lies, or at least misrepresentations of what's happening. About the 5-year-old boy, ICE did this. Well, no, ICE was going after the dad, and the dad abandoned the boy.
That's right.
And then ICE had to take the boy into custody just because there was no one to take care of him.
Well,
but then it was ICE arresting a 5-year-old boy. Right. That kind of stuff has degraded the patience of the American people. I think it's wrong what the media has been doing and what the Democrats have been doing and saying. Tim Walz saying ICE is committing atrocities. Like we're talking about Boko Haram in Nigeria, okay? And so to your point, that looks bad, and I think President Trump is trying to find a way to make it not look so bad, but still get the job done. Mm-hmm. But it is confusing, to Weston's point.
Yeah, what did he say? Softer, tough? What did he say?
Softer touch. Could be softer or softer touch. Yeah.
It's short.
Mr. President, speaking of Minneapolis, what did you learn?
I learned that maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough. These are criminals. We're dealing with really hard criminals. But look, I've called the people. I've called the governor. I've called the mayor, spoke to them, had great conversations with them.
Yeah.
Let me just remind us here as we move in our life and news 100-0 that they are carrying out ICE. They're carrying out the same process and procedures and mission all across the country, and the only stop that's been a problem is Minneapolis or Minnesota.
Los Angeles too. Yeah.
Has it been the same degree?
They've kind of been following the strategy, the blueprint of Minneapolis.
But not as bad. You're right.
Okay, so then that helps too though, because that makes the case that all this started going south when Frey or Fry, pick one, the mayor and Waltz said that we're not going to help you, and in fact we're going to entice people and we're going to
encourage people to confront ICE.
Right. Yeah. So, confrontation. Yeah. So this all started. The reason we're in the news is because of them.
Okay.
Not because of what ICE has to do.
If people on the left, they don't. First of all, they don't believe in borders.
That's right.
So they don't believe in that people are here illegally,
or that you can commit a crime.
What?
You can't really commit a crime apparently either, because
here's the way that the lefties would like to see this handled. If they even believe in ICE at all, and that is, hello, Bill and Sam here. We're from ICE. You don't have to open the door. You can look on the ring cam, and just wanted to let you know we're here to talk to so and so, and we're here to pick him up, and we're gonna take him down to the hello. Can you hear me? Yeah, we're gonna take him down to the ICE detention center. So
deport him.
So we're gonna be waiting out in the car, out front here on the street. If you could just tell him to get his bags and get his stuff together, we'll wait and we'll take him on down there, okay? And listen, whatever time he needs, half an hour, whatever. If you're watching a movie or TV show, we can wait. But we just want to be nice about this thing and be pleasant. So we're Bill and Sam from ICE, and we're going to be out front in the car. You can see us out there.
Yeah.
And if we can go do anything for you, do some grocery shopping, whatever to help the family out, let us know. Thank you. That's how ICE is supposed to handle trying to arrest hardened criminals from the streets of Minneapolis. That's what they're supposed to do.
I would argue that the mayor of Minneapolis doesn't even want ICE doing that. They don't.
I agree. I agree.
They shouldn't even be knocking on the door.
And this is one of the things that it frustrates me, is because they are rarely or never asked. The people who protest ICE, especially the publicly the elected officials like the governor and the mayor I've never heard them ask, so what do you suggest that the federal government does for enforcing the immigration laws? And then put the microphone and let them answer that question. Mm-hmm. Because all I get is, well, they shouldn't be doing this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's all I get. I don't get how how they would, you know why? Because they don't believe in enforcing immigration laws.
Yeah, and we have allowed the narrative to begin to either turn and or start going the other direction, because the question should be asked, another question should be asked to Governor Waltz. If your daughter was raped by an illegal immigrant, would you like us to detain him, deport him, and prosecute him, yes or no?
Yeah, they need to be forced to answer that question. It's easy to say, get them out of here.
Yeah.
Right. But get them out of here, and then, so you want all the illegal immigrant criminals to stay in Minneapolis. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, that's who you're protecting.
That's it.
Now, they're going to say, no, you're arresting people who are not committing crime.
Well, that's not good. That's a straw man at this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, you're listening to today's issues. What are we going to say, Chris?
Yeah, related to asking questions to these Democrats here. The mayor of Minneapolis, Frey Fry, was on CNN.
Fry.
Yeah. Oh, I call him Frey Fry because his name's pronounced different ways.
Oh, I thought that was you talking about something at McDonald's.
No. The mayor of Minneapolis, he was on CNN to talk about these kinds of things. And what's interesting and what people need to be told and what people need to remember is that a lot of these ICE tactics are actually things that were done during the Obama administration. Now, CNN, to their credit, asked the Minneapolis mayor about that. Hey, you're opposing these policies, but Obama did some of these things when he was in office. What do you have to say about that? Here is the non-answer, clip 4.
But it is worth noting that during the Obama years, the Hennepin County Jail actually had a policy where they let an ICE agent keep an office there and allowed them to talk to immigrants. So the policy has clearly been, under a Democratic president, what now the Trump administration is asking for. I mean, big picture, do you think it's good policy for the jails to follow an ICE detainer and hand someone over if they've committed a crime. And again, this only happens after they've served their time, for whatever crime they may have committed against the people of Minnesota.
I mean, look, you're asking all the right questions here. And while I don't have full expertise in how the operations at the jail are conducted, again, that's not our jurisdiction.
Wow.
What else did he say? Is that
That's where it cuts off.
He stopped? That's the answer?
That was the answer. And what's interesting here, I don't have all the answers. The guy has literally been making himself available to talk about all kinds of things as if he is the expert.
Well, that's what I mean. They won't answer the questions. Mm-hmm. They won't answer the hard questions related to then how do we what he's saying, the same thing was done under Obama that you're going after Trump on now.
Yeah.
And that is, I'm glad CNN asked that question.
That was Casey Hunt. I'll share that video.
On our Facebook page?
That's a surprise once a year.
Today, so you're going to put that on our Today's Issues Facebook page?
I will. Page? We may have witnessed Casey Hunt's last day at CNN for asking a hard question. Casey, we're hiring if you're...
That's right.
So what the mayor's, that was... You impressed with that answer, Ed?
No.
Oh.
No, in fact, he seemed surprised by it. He seemed surprised that Obama was had an ICE office in the, I guess it was a county jail for the Minneapolis, the county that Minneapolis is in. He seemed surprised. He didn't know this. Like he thought that President Trump invented this process with ICE.
All he had to say was, if he wanted to use the word undocumented, which is what they like to say, yes, if an undocumented person commits a crime and is in our jail, then we're going to hand him over to ICE because we don't want to have to house him anymore, and he probably will be deported. Yes, next question. I mean, how hard is that?
Well, but they don't want to do that.
I know.
Yeah.
I also read in part of Holman's conversation with the two on the phone, something along the lines of, well, just let them finish out their sentence and then please give us a call and we'll come pick them up then. And he said no to that.
Who said no?
Governor Waltz and Frey.
Yeah, yeah. We want them back on our streets.
Well, they said that they threatened to hold them longer.
Imagine
past their time.
Imagine what you're saying. What you're saying is no. We want those violent criminals back on our streets.
Yeah.
More than we want ICE to detain them.
This is an 80-20 for sure issue.
This is cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah.
Because the point you're making. Okay, we're going to let them loose in our city.
Yeah, right.
And they're going to commit more crime.
Right.
We all know that. But we'd rather do that than hand them over to ICE and give ICE a victory.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
I know. They didn't do that under Obama, though.
Right.
But now all of a sudden, well, all right. So we're going to take a short time out right here. Sandy Rios will be with us in a few moments. You were listening to the radio program Today's Issues on American Family Radio.
And it's an okay day today. I like that, Wesley.
Tim, Ed, Wesley, and Chris, we shall return momentarily. Stay with us.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildmon.
He grew up on his father's farm in Ontario Province in Canada. He did his share of work to help meet the family expenses. His jobs varied from selling such farm products as butter and eggs to working in a grocery store. And, of course, he had his routine farm chores. By the time he was 28 years of age, he decided to venture out on his own. So he set out for Chicago with the sum total of his life savings, $60. Once in Chicago, he began the pursuit of a dream to build a big cheese business. He bought himself a wagon to haul cheese in and began buying and selling the dairy product. He was allowed to purchase the cheese on credit and pay for it from his earnings. Times were not easy, and at the end of one year, he took stock of his business. He learned that he was $3,000 in debt, and the chances of his paying it off were slim. It was a rather disappointing year for the cheese merchant, for he'd spent a year working from early in the morning till late at night And now, despite all the long hours and hard work, his credit was gone, and it appeared that his business and dreams were gone also. Driving his horse toward home one day, he was talking to the animal, while also talking to himself. He asked Paddy, the horse who had been named by the young man, what the trouble was. "What's the matter with us, Paddy?" Well, strangely enough, an answer came so loud and clear that the young man stopped the wagon to see if anybody else was around. Here was the answer. "You're trying to leave God out." It was a rather unusual answer for the young man. He wasn't known to be a real religious person. But he continued his conversation by saying, "Paddy, if God can do any better with this business than we have, he can have it." Well, shortly after that, the man asked God to be his partner. He soon joined the church and began teaching a Sunday school class. And things started getting better in the cheese business, too. Before long, he discovered a way to preserve cheese, something which had been impossible to do before. And with the discovery, his business boomed. He soon had to hire another helper, and then another, and soon he had more than 100 employees, and then more than 200. And soon he had 1,000, and eventually the business grew to employ many thousand. From the day that he made God his partner in business until the day he died, this man found business good. He gave generously to his church and to other good causes, and he was always wishing to share God's love with someone else. So the next time you eat any Kraft cheese, remember this story about James Kraft. And I think he would want us to go on to say that the wisest move he ever made was taking God in as a partner.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
Therefore, preparing your minds for action and being sober-minded, set your hope fully on the grace that will be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. 1 Peter 1:13.
American Family Radio. This is Today's Issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of Today's Issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of Today's Issues.
Hey, welcome back to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Tim, Ed, Wesley, and Chris. By the way, we have various and sundry, yes, I did use the word sundry, ways to watch this show if you would like to. When I travel sometimes, meet people who watch the show, video streamed. Brent, how can people, Brent Creeley, our producer, Brent you don't get a chance to shine often, Brent. And here's your moment.
Chance.
So
behind the scenes.
What are the various and sundry?
The various and sundry ways you can watch this show is Facebook. You could go to Facebook and type in Today's Issues.
Okay.
And see our live video of our live show there. Or you can go to YouTube, search Today's Issues Live on YouTube. We are on X, formerly known as Twitter. You can watch us there. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just search for American Family Radio there.
Okay.
And
our own
streaming service, stream.afa.net.
Stream.afa.net, stream.afa.net. So as long as Ed here doesn't say ivermectin,
that's right. Yes.
Then YouTube will keep us on.
That's right.
Or hydroxychloroquine.
Easy.
Don't start saying those words again. You'll trigger.
How about this? If I say hydroxymectin.
Okay, we'll do something like that.
That's kind of like
code speak.
Yeah.
But we get flagged when you start using words like that, and that's
iverchloroquine.
Hey, that's a good one. I like
that's the generic version.
Iverchloroquine sounds like it'll heal everything. Do you drink that?
over the counter.
I think you when you inject bleach into your body, I think you can.
Hey, that's one of those things. I would just say, don't knock it till you try it. Okay.
or horse medicine or whatever.
Yeah, horse pill.
Horse pill. All right. We're joking about, if you're new to AAFR.
We don't give medical advice often, but that was one.
Yes. Well, we got banned. YouTube, and I don't know if Facebook did, but YouTube took us off like 2 or 3 times back during COVID because.
Don't say it again. Just
because Brother Ed was saying those words that will not be said again.
I wasn't
here.
afraid.
Yeah,
afraid of those guys.
So they took us down. I don't know why. They would only say, "Hey, you got banned for violating community standards," but we would say, "What community standards did we violate?" And they would never answer us. But anyway, so YouTube put us back on, and Facebook. I don't know. I don't think Facebook ever took us off, but because I think Zuckerberg, he was the one talking about injecting bleach. So why would he be opposed to us saying that kind of thing? You know what I'm saying? What?
I think
I just slandered Mark Zuckerberg, so we'll be taken off Facebook.
Yeah.
But then,
you will not be invited to the
10,
metaverse.
9, 8, 7.
Look, I just want to
I'm
say,
just kidding.
Mark Zuckerberg is just a fine fellow.
Okay, thank you.
So I just want to say I'm a big fan.
You're a big fan.
It wasn't because of culture change or new administration or shifting that he all of a sudden changed his tone.
Who, Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah, I'm being sarcastic.
Of course, he changed his tone because Donald Trump got elected president.
Yeah.
All those big business guys, they go with whoever the president is.
That's right.
Seemingly. All right, you're listening to Today's Issues on American Family Radio. Thanks for listening. Sandy Rios joins us now. Sandy is host of the twice a week Sandy Rios 24/7 podcast, which you can find at afr.net. It's a very popular podcast here on American Family Radio's website, afr.net. And Sandy joins us now. Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning, Tim and gang. You guys sound chipper this morning.
Well, we are. Ed's been.
We're chipper.
We're chipper.
Ed's 4 Diet Cokes in. He's ready to go.
I bet I beat you. I bet I beat Ed. Ed, you're a Diet Coke guy?
Oh,
Man, no wonder
absolutely.
I like you.
That's right. All these people around me are coffee people, and I abhor them.
You know what? Adam's been with me for so long, so I always tell him the secret to my success, quote unquote, is a Diet Coke and peanut butter. Because I used to have a spoon of peanut butter and a bucket load of Diet Coke. So there you go.
A spoon of peanut butter a day?
Yeah, I do that just to,
If you limit it to a
keeps
spoon,
arthritis away.
That's good protein.
Yeah.
It gives you
Not a whole lot
energy.
of. I didn't know this. Every teaspoon, maybe teaspoon, I don't know if it's a tablespoon, but peanut butter has a load of fat.
Yeah.
So a teaspoon or tablespoon is okay.
Trade off.
But if you sit there with, like I have done before, watching a ball game with a sleeve of crackers and peanut butter and just scoop, apply, eat.
2 hours later, you're going, what have I done?
2 hours. I wish I waited that long to
I know better.
wait through.
I know better, but I'm gonna keep going here. Crunchy or smooth?
I'm
crunchy.
smooth. Oh, you're crunchy.
See, that's why. Yeah, everybody gets that.
Yeah, everyone's different.
I'm asking everybody. I like them both. I like crunchy.
And Skippy's sweeter. I like sweet. Yeah. So,
Listen, I remember when, I know this is meaningless to most people. I apologize. Please don't turn us off. We are going to have some serious stuff with Sandy here in just a second. But I remember when, I think it might have been Skippy, came out with peanut butter and jelly in the same jar. Where they had the jelly just
revolutionary.
Stripes of it in the. Man, we begged my mom to get that. And she would say what most normal parents would say, we got a jar of peanut butter, we got a jar of jelly. What's the issue here? Why do you have to have it in one jar? Anyway.
Yeah, but it was those kind of conveniences that changed the 20th century.
That's right.
Very good, Tim.
Changed civilization.
Then they put the Reese's cup out there.
Yeah. Listen,
and now they have all kinds
SpaghettiOs.
of, and then now they have a ton of different, 10 different Reese cups. So.
My mom, who was an
goes on.
amazing cook, she was Greek. My dad was Italian, but my mom cooked amazing, marinara sauce and lasagna and all that. She was mortified when we started begging for SpaghettiOs when they came out. Chef Boyardee SpaghettiOs.
That's like food blasphemy.
Yes. She said, no, I'm not buying that. That's not spaghetti.
SpaghettiOs. All right. I wanted to ask you, Sandy, I don't know if, I remember back during COVID and Bruce, your husband, Bruce Rather, my friend, and your husband, he was hospitalized, and you shared this story. But do you something saved his life
You can say it now, can't you?
Oh, well, I never stopped saying it. No, I'm.
Seriously, we're getting serious here. I wanted you to tell that story. Do you have time?
I do.
Go ahead.
I do want to mention two other things if I have time.
Yes. Oh, we got plenty. We got 20 minutes.
Okay. Early on in COVID, we were actually at CPAC in Washington, D.C. when it first broke out. That was January of 2020. Well, I think the fall of 19, it started breaking out, but we didn't hear about it till then. And we came back home and timeline here. Bruce, let's just say Bruce got sick. We did not take the vaccine because we knew too much, and we were not about to take that. And so, of course, the vaccine didn't prevent it. Most people who got the vaccine got it multiple times. So I just want to make that clear. So Bruce got sick. We were then, ironically, in CPAC in Dallas. And we were flying there, and Bruce began to get really sick on the plane, like suddenly. And we had I tried to get him to get off the plane because they hadn't taken off yet, and he wouldn't. And I'll make this quick, but it is actually a pretty dramatic story. We got to Texas. We went to a restaurant, and he was so sick, he laid his head on the table. He couldn't hold it up. And he went to the restroom and was gone for at least 30 minutes. And I just was beside myself. Here I am in Texas, and here he is getting sick. I don't know. I don't trust the medical authorities at that time on COVID already because they were putting people on masks, and I didn't want to send him to a hospital. So he had fainted in the bathroom. That's how sick he was, Tim. Passed out. And came back out. There's a lot more to this story, but I couldn't put him back on a plane. We couldn't get back on a plane, so I put him we went to the hotel, and I kept bringing liquids back to him. I was there, I think, a day and a half while I did what I did at the conference. And then Sunday, I had to bring him back home, and of course, it's hard to describe how traumatic that was. And I got him back, and I couldn't even hardly get him on the bed when we came back from the plane, from the airport. And the very next morning, I took him to the hospital, and
in Florida,
back home, at a place that I felt we could trust. And so I went out to the car to get his DOP kit, and when I came back in, they had already taken him, and I wasn't able even to say goodbye, hug him, nothing. And
so you take him to the hospital. Okay, excuse me for interrupting here.
Yeah, he was in a wheelchair.
Okay, he's just weak as all get out. He's been sick, dehydrated in Texas, but you're at this convention, so you get him you're able to at least get to the airport, get on the plane, fly back to Florida.
Right.
And then you take him to the hospital there, the hospital that you thought
in Florida,
you could trust.
Yes.
In Florida.
Yes.
And then, so you go out to the car and they wheel him back?
Just to grab his stuff he brought. And and they wheeled him out, and then I didn't even get to say goodbye to him.
Oh, because they were very restricted back then on who went into the hospital.
Yes, and so I couldn't get up to the floor. I couldn't even talk to the doctor face to face. To make a long story short, we got assigned the next morning. Because I know I was learning. I was still on the learning curve about the vaccine and about COVID and all of that. And I got on the line and started, learning more and more and more than I actually even knew. The next morning at the crack of dawn, I went to the hospital and sat in the parking lot and prayed. This is hard. And I wrote a letter to the doctor, who was a Chinese Christian. And we prayed on the phone. He actually asked if he could pray with me on the phone, which I was just thrilled. And he was the one I wrote this letter to, and basically I appealed to him. I said, I'm not a doctor, not claiming that, but I am in the information business. And blah, 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 blah. And would you please give my husband ivermectin, please? We've got nothing to lose, because he was going to put him on a ventilator. We have nothing to lose. And do you know he did that? And he got in a lot of trouble for that. But Bruce was in the hospital then for the next 4 or 5 days, and then released. Now, he didn't come dancing out of the building, because what happened during those times, he still had COVID pneumonia, and they didn't treat people properly. I think that's why they stopped short of full treatment, which is what you would give on any pneumonia. So I took him to a urgent care and got more ivermectin. I got tons of antibiotic, and I just took care of him. And but the ivermectin, he was able to be out 5 days later, be wheeled out. But I tell you, Tim, that was
Instead of
Almost
going
lost
on
him.
instead of going on a ventilator.
Yes,
A lot
yes.
of people never came off those ventilators.
I'd say
They
you'd
quit
be
putting-
shocked. You'd be shocked at the
Yeah.
percentages.
They quit putting them on vents after a while. Didn't they?
I was told by
No, they
some-
didn't, Tim.
Okay.
I was told by someone, and I'm not going to give any details because I don't want anyone trying to track it down. And so I was told by someone in the medical profession, do not let them put you on a ventilator. When I had COVID.
Back during COVID.
Yeah. I had COVID, and my oxygen started to drop, and my doctor told me, well, if it drops below a certain, we're going to have to send you to the emergency room. And I talked to this other person who's in the medical field. They said, whatever you do not let them put you on a ventilator because, and he said, don't quote me on this. I'll have to deny it. He said, but that's a death sentence.
Yeah, and let me interject. There's a reason for that. This is the horrible truth. Hospitals were getting hundreds of thousands of dollars for claiming patients as COVID positive. You got tons of money for that. And using ventilators, you got tons of money for that. That's how that went. And this, from my part, is how our medical system really started crashing and burning. I mean, doctors, of course, the hospitals are corporate owned, but doctors were in a terrible dilemma if they had a conscience.
Yeah.
Because they had to work. They're working for the corporation. So this is how ugly it got. And they actually, I'm sorry, they killed people. And so this is why this is all.
You mean
That's all I can say.
kill people that didn't stab them with a knife? You say by not giving him.
Not treating them properly because there was proper medication. Even that remdesivir was a hoax. The only thing remdesivir did was they alleged would keep your hospital stay down to 3 days, and that I don't believe that was even true. Remdesivir does deadly things to your kidneys, your organs.
Look, you remember there were entire wings of hospitals shut down because they were limiting the number of people in there. Their staff was limited because they were firing people who would not go along with the protocols. And so the hospitals, I think some of them, I'm not saying all, I want to be fair here. This is my sense of what they were doing. They were relying on all this federal money to make up for income shortfalls.
I don't doubt that.
And they were doing what the CDC and Dr. Fauci, et cetera, were telling them to do. So ventilator.
Without question.
Yes. You're going to pay us all this money for ventilators? Absolutely, we'll do it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, the caveat I would add is I believe there are people of good conscience who for years did believe it was like the Holy Grail, the CDC and the National Institutes for Health. We had tremendous faith in our medical, but we had no idea that we had the Dr. Fauci's, the Mengele of the United States. We had no idea who was running those agencies and what they were actually doing. So some medical people, rightfully wrong, I don't know, just were so dedicated to those systems that they were blinded. That's part of it too.
Yeah. You know what, with Dr. Anthony Fauci, okay, I'm going to say that, but prior to COVID, he was pretty highly regarded in the field that he was. Was it the
disease and
what was it? What was
Centers
the name
for Disease, CDC, Centers for Disease.
No, he was over
NIH.
NIH.
Okay, sorry, I'll get it right.
One of their divisions, I think.
Yeah. Okay, National Institute for Health, but he was well known as having to do with disease. Okay, you know why I didn't make it in medical school now. But what I'm saying is he was pretty highly regarded.
Well, that was his reputation, but he had
yes.
some terrible stuff in his past.
Yes, he did, but people didn't know that.
Right.
But he lost all credibility almost immediately, and it was self-inflicted. When he said, do you remember this? I know we're rehashing things, but maybe we'll never do this again.
Good radio. Yeah.
But I will tell you this. He said they asked him about COVID and stopping COVID with masks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it was an unguarded moment or he was just telling the truth.
It was early on.
Mm-hmm.
It was
early
like
on.
March or something. Of
So he said
2020.
Before the 6-week curve.
Yes. He said, well, I'm paraphrasing now, but he basically said you can wear a mask if it makes you feel better, but masks do not stop COVID.
No, you're spot on. He did say that.
Didn't he say that?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
It was before the 6-week curve.
That was the truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
From Dr. Fauci. And then 2 weeks later, boom, he switches. Hey, everybody, mask up. 6 feet away.
Flatten the curve.
And I thought, a guy of your stature, is making a fundamental flip like that from you can wear a mask if you want to, but it doesn't stop COVID to everybody mask up.
He didn't have time to get in there and invest in mask financially.
Anyway,
good point.
The bottom line is, Sandy, you got this doctor to give Bruce ivermectin. Why ivermectin was smeared and joked about?
Because it was effective. And they would not have made the money they made.
Yes, that was the pharmaceutical companies couldn't make money off
you
it.
guys are just you have such
listen. I'm like what Sandy said.
Being a realist.
I used to have a lot of respect for the medical profession. Now I still love my doctor. Okay, I'm not saying all of them, but when all that happened, CDC, NIH, and the ties with the pharmaceutical companies, that shattered any illusions I had about how this game was played.
You know, the money, too, when you incentivize, like you've talked about, the hospitals, like you've talked about, then that's a conflict of interest.
Yes, it is.
In giving, I mean, I don't care who you are. I mean, that just is. People are influenced by money.
You got to stay in business. That's the way they thought of it, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. But I remember some of the very things you guys are talking about in terms of doctors and nurses.
Not that long ago.
Doctors and nurses would say, kind of look around to see who's listening. But they would say things that were at least second guessing or contrary to what their protocols were from their own bosses.
Tim, most medical people, from my remembrance here, I can't give you a stat, did not take the shot.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of they didn't. I mean, Bruce did an unofficial. Well, even though he was sick, he asked people they were in the COVID ward, and they did not take the shot.
Yeah.
People who were all masked, that looked like they were in outer space, all bundled up, but they did not take it.
Listen, I remember my wife and I taking my daughter to the emergency room. She had an injury, and we were in the. They take you once you get through the the waiting room. They take you to an area where there are, rooms, examination rooms. And so there were cots out in the hallway, and it was clear that they were overwhelmed with people. This is probably 2021, maybe 2022. And I asked the doctor who came to see my daughter, I followed him out, and I said, hey, just a quick question. What's with all the they're not cots, they're the rolling beds, whatever you.
Sure.
I said, what's with all these there's patients out in the hallway? And I asked him, he said, well, we're understaffed. And I said, can I ask you a question? Are you understaffed because you fired staff for not taking the shot? And he said, yeah. I guess it was a moment of honesty or whatever. And I said, okay, thank you.
That's another thing.
For your honesty.
We're talking about the doubt and that was cast on the professional medical community during COVID. Were for some very valid reasons. I mentioned Dr. Fauci saying masks don't help. Now everybody, and then 2 weeks later, no, everybody wear masks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then, you had the ivermectin situation. You couldn't even say it.
Yeah,
you couldn't even discuss it without being mocked
and kicked off on social on platforms here.
Yeah,
YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is too. There's never been a rectifying, never an admission, and so hospitals are still pushing shots. Some that are also, excuse me, my voice, they're also suspect in their effectiveness. And they've never admitted. In fact, I know Mayo Clinic because I know them very well. They I don't know if they're still pushing the COVID shot, but I think they are.
But
They were up until last because I was up there pushing it still.
This is part of the frustration in America is nobody pays for anything.
Right.
There's just nobody. There's not a reckoning for anything anymore. People don't go to prison, for this crime or that crime. They don't. There's no reckoning in terms of voting irregularity for nothing. And this is part of the frustration in America is because, when are we going to find out the truth about that whole COVID era?
And Fauci going to prison.
Yeah, I mean, there's a latent frustration out there amongst people. This is why there was so much racket about releasing the Epstein files. Okay, now I'm not going to spend any time reading that stuff.
No, dude, you need to.
Somebody will do that.
Report back tomorrow.
But I think the reason behind that, driving that, is that people were saying, listen, we got to somebody's got to face some consequences in this country. And and nobody ever seems to face it.
I do think the election was a big, a reckoning, so to speak.
Yeah.
The presidential election against all the millions of illegal immigrants that were let
I'm
in.
talking. Hey, listen. What about the reckoning for those members in the intelligence communities in this country that spied on a president?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean,
there's a lot of things.
All the stuff people say. Well, who went to prison? Anybody get fired? Anybody lose their job? Anybody lose their... There's a couple of people I'm sure probably lost some clearance, security clearance, but anyway.
All right, well, we're out of time. Sandy, there was one other. Can you hold on after the break?
Yes, because these two things are very important, actually, Tim. So that'd be great if you have time.
Well, I was the one who diverted our attention away, but we did get to talk.
I kind of missed talking about that COVID era. That we hadn't talked about that in a long time.
Kind of nostalgic.
It's been 6 years. Well, it's still an issue, the trust, and it's good to revisit that and understand, so we have a baseline for understanding what's happening now.
Well, and should that happen again?
Mm-hmm.
Should that kind of thing happen again? But
that'll never happen again, Tim. They wouldn't dare try that again.
China would.
All right, so you're listening to Today's Issues on American Family Radio. There's the music. Chris, thank you.
Thank you.
Almost thanks for nothing for Chris. We made him sit there for 30 minutes.
Chris had many other stories we could have covered.
Steve's got some angles here that he could help you guys with on the discussion you're having about COVID and some of the other stuff.
Well, we're going to come back for some other issues with Sandy. That was just a trip down memory lane, folks. Hope you enjoyed that.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Chris. All right, and we shall return. Moment, Sandy. We will get to Sandy's top 2 things she wanted to discuss today before I took us down
bumped us off the track,
country road.
Take me home.
Huh? Take me home. I see what you did there. We'll be back momentarily. Stay with us.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
Getting married, starting a family, their eternal values and ideals. These are core values that shaped this country for so long. These are values and ideals that are rooted in Scripture. They're eternal values and ideals.
At the Core with Walker Wildman and Rick Green, where culture meets biblical truth. Weekdays at 1 Central on AFR. This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. President Trump attending the National Prayer Breakfast today, speaking to hundreds of lawmakers, business leaders, state officials, and foreign dignitaries. The president touting several religious victories made in his first year in office, including the launch of the White House Faith Office, which is tasked with leading the executive branch's outreach to faith-based groups, community organizations, and houses of worship. The president also making an announcement about prayer in public schools across the country.
And today I'm also pleased to announce that the Department of Education is officially issuing its new guidance to protect the right to prayer in our public schools. That's a big deal.
The state of Missouri is considering shifting schoolwork back to paper and scrapping screen time.
A Missouri House committee considering a hands-on learning restoration act that would limit screen time for students from kindergarten to 5th grade to 45 minutes per day, addressing growing frustration among parents and educators when it comes to the role technology is playing in classrooms. State Rep Republican Tricia Burns calling it a crisis.
The hard truth is Generation Z is demonstrably less healthy, less happy, less cognitively developed than their parents were at the same age.
Missouri Democrats also favor using paper for schoolwork and doing away with most computer, phone, and tablet time in schools. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
An immigration attorney says he is not surprised that Border Czar Tom Homan has managed to speak sense to numerous state and local government officials in Minnesota to facilitate ICE's ability to do its job.
As we've reported on AFN, Border Czar Tom Homan has announced that Minnesota state and local law enforcement officials have agreed to cooperate by turning over arrested illegal alien criminal suspects to Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents. He said given this increase in unprecedented collaboration and as a result of the need for less public safety officers to do this work and a safer environment, 700 immigration officers were ordered to leave Minnesota immediately. Art Arthur is a resident fellow in law and policy at the Center for Immigration Studies.
Not surprisingly, Tom Homan, the consummate law enforcement official, has managed to speak sense to numerous state and local government officials in Minnesota to facilitate ICE's ability to take custody of the criminals who are in county jails and state prisons in the land of 10,000 lakes.
Arthur says this is a better use of resources.
He is now able to pull 700 immigration officers who were otherwise assigned to find those individuals in Minnesota out of the state and send them to other parts of the country where their resources are needed. So this is a clear victory for not only Tom Homan, for the Trump administration, and for immigration enforcement generally.
I'm Chad Groening.
Vandals caused destruction when they broke into a Catholic school in Long Beach, California, and trashed the assembly hall, chapel, classrooms, and destroyed a Virgin Mary statue. Tony Tripp, the school's director of advancement, says he does not know why the campus was targeted.
You know, my gut's telling me that it's probably a group of individuals. I have no idea because it's very strange. To a certain appearance, it does look like they want to steal things, and then at another side, it looks like they just wanted to destroy anything that had a religious symbolism purpose. So, not sure what the motivation was.
I think I will have another cup of coffee.
A cardiac study out of Australia suggests your morning cup of coffee may be healthier for you than you previously thought, even helping with certain types of heart arrhythmias like atrial fibrillation. Cardiologist Dr. Kyle Fellman with more findings.
You know, it was a very positive study, and I think they weren't expecting the findings they found necessarily, but were just interested in, studying these patients, especially those that have this underlying arrhythmia of atrial fibrillation. And it's a population that we have often told to avoid coffee and caffeine in general for fear of recurrence. But, based off their study results, it looks like it's a good thing for them, with lots of positive benefits in general, but also with a reduction in atrial fibrillation.
More news online at afn.net and on the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty Pugh.
As we watch world events unfold and fulfill Scripture, it's hard to believe anyone could doubt God and His Word are real, and yet there are so many who either question or completely refuse to believe it. The God Who Speaks is a 90-minute documentary that hits the doubt head-on with evidence that proves God is real and His Word is the ultimate authority. Watch it anytime and invite others to watch with you. Just visit stream.afa.net. That's stream.afa.net.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildmon, president of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Tim, Ed, Wesley, Sandy Rios. Sandy joins us right now on the show. She's been with us for about half an hour, and it's going to stay over because we got a couple of topics we need to get to. And now Steve Paisley Jordahl joins us. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, Sandy.
Hey, Steve. How are you?
I'm well. Sandy, to go way back, I was talking with Sandy back in my days at Focus on the Family 20 years ago.
Oh, please, I'm not that old.
No, you were just a young lady at the time.
Yeah, 12 years old.
That's
That's
right.
amazing.
But that's when you were working for Family News and Focus,
That's
right?
That's right.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to, Sandy, tell folks about your podcast and how they can get it and what you got coming up.
It's Sandy Rios 24/7, and you can get it on AFR Talk at the podcast section. You can listen on any podcast platform. You can also listen from my website, sandyrios.com. And most recently, Tim, I think I probably did one of the most important podcasts I've ever done, and I mean that, and that shows, I should say, even. There is evidence regarding the voting machines that now are used worldwide. For us, Dominion is the most familiar name. There are investigations in a very new and real, effective way that I talked about on Monday. The cheating that goes so deep, the involvement of other countries, the involvement of Venezuela and China and other countries now can be verified. And people that are overseas have been in protective custody now for a while who were involved in creating this software to steal elections. They're ready to testify, as are others. There are serious investigators on this. Tulsi Gabbard mentioned this in the very first cabinet meeting with Donald Trump. But it was kind of mysterious and cryptic. And so I talked about that and played audio from two of the people that are leading this effort on the show this week. And so I just commend that to everyone. It's so important because we're losing our country. And we have to clean up our elections, and this is one thing that has to happen. We can have all the people go vote that we want, but if somebody's in another country changing the numbers and doing a sleight of hand like you do in cards, then we can't ever win again. So this is an important issue.
All right, so go to, folks, if you want to, Sandy releases 2 podcasts a week, and if you want them, then you go to afr.net, click on the podcast banner, and you'll see.
And then scroll down.
Yeah. You'll see Sandy. So go to afr.net, click on podcast, and you'll find it very easily. Sandy Rios 24/7.
And actually, it's the most recent one posted. It's called Dominion Voting Machines D-Day Explosive, and it is.
All right.
And also before that, I want to say also a shout out because Bruce and I worked so hard and did a really, I think, thorough and said things about Minneapolis you won't hear anywhere else. And so I did When Nice Turns Deadly and then The Horrors of Minneapolis. And I commend both of those too.
Okay. All right, Steve. Go ahead.
Sandy, didn't Fox and Dominion get into it in a lawsuit? Didn't Dominion demand billions of dollars from Fox News? And are they going to have to give it back?
Well, I don't know about the second part, but Dominion sued everyone. They sued every major radio network. They sued Fox. They sued Newsmax. They destroyed Sidney Powell. They destroyed Rudy Giuliani. They destroyed Michael Flynn. This was a threat that remember, it was like COVID. It was like the COVID shot. Don't you dare say Dominion voting machines are stealing votes. Don't you dare say that. If you say that, you lost your job. You shut up. I had a friend on Top 40 Radio in Chicago who couldn't, on his show, mention it. Couldn't say a word. So I'm just telling you, it was the same kind of grip they had on COVID. Yeah. And now we know they were as corrupt as they could be. It started out as Smartmatic in Venezuela. Then it went to Sequoia. And then
all right, let's stop, Sandy.
Sorry.
That's okay because we'll get sued tomorrow. And
no, you won't. No, you won't because they're out of business.
I don't really want that. But
Tim, you're not going to be sued.
Okay.
They're being crushed, and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Let me just say this. I don't know, Sandy, what Sandy just talked about. I trust Sandy on what she says. That's all. Yeah. But I don't have any independent verification on what Sandy's.
Well, they're actually admitting it. Even the Dominion CEO is admitting it in court. So it's okay.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to listen to Sandy's latest podcast.
I was thinking the same thing.
What I'm going to do.
I'm interested. So, sign me
but
up.
there was one other topic you wanted to get to, right, Sandy?
Yes, and you guys will be all in on this. This week on my show, I created a spot on this because separate spot because I feel it's so important. I think this Sunday is a time of reckoning. And the reason I say that, Tim, it's the Super Bowl and it's fun. You know, I even enjoy it, and I'm not a big football fan, but it's just an American pastime. But in the midst of this, the NFL has chosen an artist who's called Bad Bunny, which sounds kind of funny. Sounds
Bad
kind of
Bunny.
funny. Yes. Sounds kind of funny, right? You know, like he must be really good or humorous.
Right.
But he is the epitome, the encapsulated person for everything woke, anti-American, everything that we can't possibly embrace. He's going to perform in a dress. It'll be all about transgenderism, homosexuality. He's already told us that. He's doing the whole thing in Spanish because he can. He is we saw him at the Grammys last weekend, I guess it was, and he went on and on about ICE. And one of the things he said about Minneapolis, he said, "We are not animals. We are not some other word like that." And here's the thing, Tim. I want to ask him, I'd like to sit down and have coffee with Bad Bunny and ask him, that person that bit off the ICE agent's finger completely, and the second person who tried the same with a second agent, what kind of a person was that? They are going to the ICE agents. They're finding out who's cooking their meals and asking them to poison or make them sick with their food. They're keeping them awake all night with these rape whistles. Rape whistles. What kind of people do this? Okay, so Bad Bunny is into all of this, and he is the chosen performer for that international audience on Sunday. And this is my opinion. As believers in Christ, we have to make a choice. We have to not listen to that. TPUSA has an alternative halftime, and I don't care if it's terrible. It won't be, but I don't care if it is. They're going to be on X. They're going to be on, I got to remember that, YouTube, the YouTube channel for TPUSA. Sorry, I'm trying to do this by memory, and I forgot to write it down. There's a whole bunch of outlets. Daily Wire, Trinity Broadcasting, and there are others, too. I'm sure if you Google this, you can find out the other ways. X, you can... If you have a brain, if you do anything on television or with your phone, you can find it. And so I am challenging. I'm saying, look, this doesn't cost you anything. And the benefit not only is into your personal mental health by not taking that in with your children, your neighbors, your family, your church members. How could you do that? How could you do that? This is low drag. It doesn't cost you anything to do the right thing. And the net result, Tim, besides being, I think, a blessing of obedience to the Lord Jesus for those of you that are believers, is that you could cause, which is what I'm hoping for, the Nielsen ratings to go way down during the halftime. That's where they make their money. They spend millions of dollars. They get millions of dollars for these ads. Let's just sink the audience so they don't get millions of dollars and make a stand. Take a stand.
Yeah. Talking about the halftime show.
Probably need to consider an action alert on that.
Yeah.
Already.
I don't know. I did not know anything about Bad Bunny. He's, for those who don't know, he's a rapper from Puerto Rico, right?
Correct. Well, he's not a rap. I don't know if he's technically classed as a rapper. He probably does some of it, but I think he kind of sings too.
Okay. Well, anyway, he was so he's the halftime show performer.
30 minutes. 30 minutes.
Yeah, at the Super Bowl. And how that happens is the NFL, Roger Goodell, who's the commissioner, he gave that choice over to a guy named Jay-Z, who is a rapper, a very popular, famous rapper, very rich guy from New York, married to Beyonce. So Roger Goodell said, pick our halftime artist for us. This is the way I understand it happens. And so we just get nothing but
garbage.
I don't know. It's they would say they're trying to create an international outreach here because he's Puerto Rican into the Hispanic community or whatever like that. But I'm going like, this is first and foremost an American event, the Super Bowl, and why you couldn't pick somebody at least one year.
Well, I wish they'd poll the American people, or they won't.
Yeah. Now,
don't
just
care.
listen. Now, we may not listen to this guy, but this guy has international fame. I mean, this Bad Bunny character is as big as anybody you might know from your era that was a top line musical act. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he isn't without millions and millions and millions of fans. I think it was the number one downloaded on one of those music sites. So he has international acclaim.
I don't think it's for talent, Tim. He is a dreadful person. I've never seen anything joyful come out of his mouth. He's like Darth Vader.
Right.
I just found my list. Could I just say it's going to be on YouTube with TPUSA's YouTube, Real America's Voice, Rumble, One America News, Trinity Broadcasting, and the Daily Wire, and there may be others.
This is the alternative.
The alternative, yes.
Well, of course, Ed and I are going to have our alternative too.
Chips and dip.
Peanut butter.
Which one's chip and which one's dip is what I want to know.
Listen,
you know what, guys? That was hurtful and unnecessary.
Not guys. That was Steve.
Ed and I's working. We're working on this.
Listen. I can't do what Sandy is suggesting because I haven't watched the halftime on a Super Bowl in probably 10 or 12 years because they always do this, Sandy. They always pick, I can't name them all, but it seems like they always want to pick a degenerate.
They do, Ed, but I just want to point out this is the worst yet.
Yeah.
This is horrific. I don't know if I'm properly capturing it. You should hear this guy. This guy is so rebellious and hateful toward America. That's one thing.
Well, vulgar,
but it's the
too.
moral
Just plain out
degenerate.
Vulgar.
But I will say this. Now, Tim, you mentioned that this is primarily an American
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. However, I think that those in charge of the NFL, they've been pushing for years to increase and expand its influence overseas. That's why they have several games a year in Europe. They're trying to get an international audience, and I think this drives it. To me, the NFL is in danger of becoming like one of these multinational corporations that no longer cares about America. They say, well, Americans will tune in. We don't have to worry about them. We want to reach outside of America.
Is he really going to get on stage with a dress on?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Wesley.
I don't know. I just have a hard time seeing the American people not having a bigger problem with that to the point where it causes a change.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Right.
I hope they boo the guy.
You're going to do it all in Spanish? Going to do it all in Spanish?
All in Spanish. And, okay, no, wait. I just looked this up to make sure. I do know that he said he was going to wear a dress. Now I'm looking at an update. It says, reports indicate he will not be wearing a dress.
NFL's not going to let him do that.
I don't know. But he's still going to, he always is like fluid. In fact, I've got pictures here of him in a dress.
Oh, he's a huge supporter of the LGBTQ agenda. That's absolutely
But
clear.
it's not just that. I mean, it's not just that, you guys. It's the vulgarity. It's the hatred of America.
Right.
It's the hatred of anything honest and good.
Yeah.
And I just, and also, this is a chance. I think TPUSA has done something brilliant here. This is a positive way of taking the power of this wicked force that's trying to swallow up the world with its wickedness. This is a positive alternative, which, if it's anything like Charlie's funeral, you know it will be wonderful. But I can't say that it's going to be. I don't know. But I don't care. Like I said, I don't care. I just want my mind to be not drawn into that garbage. Or my family, my friends. I sent out missives to my own friends and lists and pastors, begging them, to take a stand and tell other people.
All right. Thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it very much.
My pleasure.
Yeah. All right.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye. That's Sandy Rios joining us there. Steve.
All right, we got a brand new breaking news. This is a new comprehensive news briefing. A group called the Institute for the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy has released a report, and it's titled Rashida Tlaib's Problematic and Rhetorical Associations. And what it asserts, what it says, is that there is serious ethical and national security concerns related to Democrat Representative Rashida Tlaib from Michigan and her affiliation with individuals and organizations linked to designated foreign terrorist entities. She's participated in conferences with terrorist groups and sympathizers. She's made payments to activists linked to Hamas and others. She is neck deep in this, according to this brief, which I have a copy of. The article, Fox has produced this article that just came out a couple hours ago.
Listen, the more we learn about the radical left, and I'm not sure, when I say radical left, they may represent a larger percentage of the Democratic Party, for example, than we currently understand. But they are, the radical left on the Democratic side, they are pro-terrorist because they see it as a struggle against Israel, who is the oppressor, just like the rest of the West. It's really astonishing that we've come to this.
Yeah. So you could. We haven't yet decided how to cover this on AFN. I'm sure we will. But at this point, you could look for the story on Fox. Can I note the lack of irony, awareness on the left?
That's what we do here.
Yes.
We note
This
lack
is
of
good.
irony.
Well,
This is
okay,
good.
so someone decided to go take give an interview to some of these people in Minneapolis that are blocking the streets and stopping everybody and checking for license plates and ID to make sure you're not ICE. They don't want to let ICE into the neighborhood.
Right.
So they did an interview, and I want you to listen to this interview. The very first thing you're going to hear, stop and think about what you're hearing. It's the
These
irony.
are not police.
No. This is a private citizen, private journalist, maybe a local TV station, I think, that was out to do an interview. But listen to this. This is Scott 13.
Creating a place that we know who's coming and going in and out of our neighborhoods.
In the middle of the road at 32nd and Cedar Avenue, a makeshift roadblock turned this intersection into a roundabout. How did it make you feel just seeing a community checkpoint in your neighborhood?
It's kind of inspiring. It's like, wow, okay. We've got folks out there who are kind of taking care of us, looking out for us. That's good.
But Minneapolis police stepped in, clearing the roadblock and restoring flow of traffic.
Honestly, I'm kind of sad about it.
Still, residents say the roadblock was necessary.
We need to keep our neighbors safe, so we will be doing this again.
Okay, does it strike anybody as odd that they want to make sure that the people that are coming into their neighborhood aren't going to do any harm in the neighborhood?
That
kind of
the whole thing was irony, but that part, and then at the end, yes, I'd like to see them come back and do it again so that we can keep us safe. And they said earlier, so that we know who comes in and out.
Right.
The whole thing.
This is in Minneapolis?
It is.
Well, I understand that this neighborhood group has the nickname MICE, or Minneapolis Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Listen, what's so bizarre about that is, like you mentioned this in our story meeting, these folks don't even understand the irony of the situation. They are behaving in a way that justifies borders. Okay, this is what conservatives and MAGA and other MAGA folks have been saying. We need to know who's coming into our country, so that we can keep our people safe.
Right,
and that's the way they're doing the same thing here in Minneapolis, and don't realize that
nobody ever accused the left of having intellectual inconsistency.
Right.
That's good stuff right
there. All
there.
right, you're listening to Today's Issues on American Family Radio. Tim, Ed, Wesley, and Steve. Steve, next up.
The recent Grammy Awards last Sunday were all about immigration.
Hey, I've got it taped, so don't spoiler alert me.
Okay, I won't tell you who won anything.
I've got all of it taped, all 3 hours.
Okay. But everybody was wearing these ICE out pins. The anger at ICE agents was just that's the thing to do now if you're on the left.
You're telling me Vanilla Ice is back. I knew he'd come back.
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice.
Am I not right about it?
There is a lady, an artist named Billie Eilish. She's a very popular young lady that has come on the music scene recently, and she decided to make a statement. I'm going to play her statement, then I'm going to play Fox's John Roberts, who is reading a statement from an actual Indian tribe who owns the land that she has built her house on. You think I'm kind of signaling where this is going. Listen to cut 14.
No one is illegal on stolen land. Yeah, it's just really hard to know what to say and what to do right now. And I feel really hopeful in this room, and I feel like we just need to keep fighting and speaking up and protesting, and our voices really do matter.
We appreciate the opportunity to provide clarity regarding the recent comments made by Billie Eilish. As the first people of the greater Los Angeles basin, we do understand that her home is situated in our ancestral land. Eilish has not contacted our tribe directly regarding her property. We do value the insistence when public figures provide visibility to the true history of this country.
This is always the bizarre thing. So this Billie Eilish,
it's a girl / woman. I don't know how old she is. She's a Grammy Award winning. She won a Grammy the other day.
Yep.
So she goes on this.
I think she's 27, maybe something like that.
But she
enigmatic kind of. Yeah.
She said she gets up to get her award. Oh, where nobody's
illegal on
land. We're all living on stolen land. And then what happened, Ed, after that?
Well, the point I was going to make is the virtue signaling is almost like a disease on the part of those on the left. Now, I'm sure conservatives can virtue signal too. And by virtue signal, I mean you are literally giving a signal to people who are like-minded that you are a good person on the issues that matter. Okay, so she's talking about stolen land, but they never have any solution to the problem. If she is implying that all this land should be given back.
Talking about the United States of America.
Yes, then start with yourself. Don't just simply
set an example for us.
Set an example for us. What exactly are you saying?
The statement that John Roberts read was on behalf of the Tongva tribe.
Okay.
Oh, so that's good information. I knew that, but just to remind our audience, the statement that was read was from
the Tongva tribe, which identifies as the group that
the original people
in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So what makes this funny, folks? You have this left-wing singer, and many of them are, and she's saying basically America's stolen land. Okay, the Europeans stole it from the indigenous people. The Indians, who were, had their different tribes here in the U.S., and so basically our whole country is illegitimate.
Right.
The one that's given her the Grammy, and made all this money for her, it's an illegitimate country.
Yeah.
And she lives in a big mansion, as it turns out, that was owned by this Indian.
Way back before.
Way back
Los
when?
Angeles.
Way back
it was
when?
stolen.
It was
quote.
Yeah, so people are saying now, well, why don't you get back your land that was you?
Because currently it's her land, including her horse ranch and her mansion.
Yeah,
They're all
land.
$14 million.
The Tongva tribe wants it back, but I'm sure they'd settle for a big rent check every month.
Yeah. Listen, she ain't gonna give it back because these people are rank hypocrites. Okay, they want a virtue signal and say what
Look
she
at
said.
me.
Look at me. I'm a good. Look at me. I'm a good person, but you're kidding me if I'm giving back my stolen land, right? All right. We shall, Steve, thank you.
My pleasure.
Ed,
absolutely.
Appreciate you and your Diet Coke. And thank you, Wesley and Brent Creeley and Cole Green,
Sandy Rios.
Videographer. Sandy Rios. We'll see you tomorrow.
AFA Stream. It sounds like it could be a great place to catch fish or paddle a canoe. And as good as that is, AFA